Encik Faisal meminta kami membenarkan ibu bapa yang sedang melalui proses perceraian dan memerlukan rumah dengan segera untuk memohon bagi mendapatkan rumah sewa awam sebelum penceraian itu dimuktamadkan. Pemerintah memahami dan bersimpati sepenuhnya dengan kebimbangan pasangan yang bercerai. Mungkin Encik Faisal tidak sedar, tetapi sebenarnya pada masa ini, HDB sudah pun membenarkan individu yang telah memulakan proses perceraian untuk memohon bagi mendapatkan rumah sewa, bahkan sebelum keputusan sementara atau muktamad diperolehi. Kami telah memaklumkan tentang perkara ini dalam jawapan kepada soalan Parlimen 345 ini pada November tahun 2020.
Thank you, sir. Just like to seek one clarification from Minister. Earlier, Minister mentioned that there are cases where HDB approved application for a rental flat under the public rental scheme by individuals who are still in the midst of divorce proceeding. So, may I know, is there a scheme, specific scheme for this, or is it across the board, or just based on case-by-case basis?
I will have to confirm whether or not it's a specific scheme, but what I can confirm is what I mentioned earlier, which is that even though you have not finalized the divorce, you can still make the application. So I think, as I said earlier, let me just check what I said there. It says that, so HDB does already allow individuals who have commenced divorce proceedings to apply for rental housing even before the interim and final judgments are obtained. I think this was dealt with in the reply to a previous PQ in November 2020. So I mean that much, if your residents are concerned, you can give them the assurance that HDB will still look at their applications.
Mr. Fajamana.
Thank the Minister for her reply. But based on my personal dealing with the MPS cases, there are many letters reply from HDB which mention that residents have to go through the proceeding and to able to prove to submit basically divorce certificate. So that's why for me basically I would propose if HDB can actually implement a scheme for such cases. Thank you.
Minister.
I will check, but if there are any specific cases, then perhaps Mr. Faisal can send them to me, and I will see what can be done.
Mr. Pritam Singh.
Thank you, Speaker, for allowing me to seek a clarification from the Minister. So, Minister, I heard your reply and your reference to the parliamentary reply in 2020. I've pulled it out. So I'm just following up on what my colleague Mr. Faisal Manap has said with regard to representations from HDB. So I'll just as an example, 1st of May 2024, a letter written by the HDB, your request to rent a public rental flat from HDB, and then HDB lists out the circumstances that are necessary before the rental application can be assessed. So this is what the letter from HDB says. We have learned that you are still legally married. Please note that a married couple is considered as a single legal entity, and we are not able to allow one party to exclude the other during the application. In addition, HDB would not be able to consider an applicant's application if they have not obtained the deed of separation or when the divorce is not finalized, as we would need to know the distribution of matrimonial assets, if any. Furthermore, for divorce applicants who wish to apply for a flat with their children below 21 years old, they would need to have custody with care and control as stated in the order of court. We are prepared to consider your requests after you have obtained the deed of separation or the finalized divorce documents, as we need to know more on the distribution of matrimonial assets, if any, and the custody of the children. So it would appear not to be consistent with what the Minister is sharing. So I just thought I'd put that out. I'm happy to share this letter with the Minister. This letter is dated 1st of May 2024.
Minister.
So to confirm two things. One is that it's case by case, not specific scheme. I just confirmed that. Second, in the letter that Mr. Pritam Singh referred to, it also did refer to a deed of separation, right? So just to check, there's a difference between an application to buy a new flat and application for rental flat. So the one that I talked about was in the context of rental flat, because I think that was Mr. Faisal's original speech. So for the rental housing, HDB does allow individuals who have commenced divorce proceedings to apply for rental housing even before the interim or final judgments are obtained. Can I just check for Mr. Pritam Singh, was he talking about application to buy or application for rental?
Mr. Singh?
Mr. Speaker, the title of the letter is Your Request to Rent a Public Rental Flat from HDB. So it would suggest that the reply from HDB ought to have said what the Minister has been sharing, because it's clearly a rental application, not an application.
Minister?
Yes. And I believe that in the reply, Mr. Singh did refer to HDB talking about a deed of separation. And a deed of separation is something you can do even before the interim judgment. So maybe that might be a way of doing it. But perhaps what I can do is see whether HDB's procedures can be more facilitative, because that will help people who may not be familiar with all the various legal documents.